I don't hear anything. I'm sorry. I don't hear anything.
Sorry. Okay. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
So, page cofine test.
What does it mean that nitzochin is shinuyim v'nichumim?
Okay, so I said yesterday that this line nitzochin shinuyim nichumim doesn't make sense to me, and because nitzochin is the opposite. According to the Maimer, according to the Hemshach HaMaimer, nitzochin is the opposite of shinuyim. Lo yinochem. That's also lo yinochem. So one svara was that I didn't look up. I have to find Ksaviyad. That's not, it's a Ksaviyad of Maniach. It's a little hard to find. So the one explanation, one way to say, maybe instead of Pchina should say Bli Shinuyim. It does this line Nitzachon Pchina Shinuyim Nichumin. I don't understand it. I think there's some kind of mistake here because it doesn't fit the Hemshach Inyan. So Nitzachon, the opposite from Hemshach Inyan, he says Nitzachon is not Shinuyim, it's above Shinuyim. Ein Shaykh Shum Shinuyim. Maybe instead of Pchinas, I'd say Bli. Nitzachon Bli Shinuyim B'nichumim. It's possible, but I have to find a Ksaviyad. Like something is okay. That's number one. Number two, we spoke yesterday about the Odom. What? As I pointed out yesterday clearly that this line Nitzachon B'nichumim Nichumim doesn't fit the Hemshach Inyan here, and I have a feeling that it's some kind of mistake here. And I mean, I looked in my mind that this Maimer is based on like the Maimer Ha'Tzich and Tzidkas Pir Zayin from the Mittel Rebbe, Maimer of the Alter Rebbe, also Maimer from the Maimer Basilagani. Everywhere says the opposite. So, and also now Maimer later. So, the this line, I have a feeling there's some kind of mistake here. Like I just mentioned, instead of Pchinas, maybe it's Bli. It still doesn't fit. That line still doesn't make so much sense. What does it mean? Nimtzen, yesh nitzachon shu pchinas shinuyim. Okay, even Bli. The word Bli also, I don't know. Yeah, maybe Bli, but you have to look in itself.
He's also saying be'asmus ein sof pchinas kiloi odom hu shom eile shayach shum shinuyim v'nichumim.
No.
Mishom midas hanetzach.
Exactly. Misham midas hanetzach. So netzach is above shinuyim v'nichumim. Netzach is so lo yishak but lo yinoch. So netzach is above nichumim. So the word netzach shinuyim doesn't make sense. But if you hear something better, I'll be happy to accept. Okay, that's one point. The other point we made yesterday was that it said earlier, Adam Ama'ule. On the roim, the midas hanetzach dafka b'adam godel be'ish ma'ule. What does ish ma'ule mean? Who is this ish ma'ule that's netzach? Okay, bring the ayah later. It says a melech. So I tried to like I was bothering me that Natzchonis sometimes is looked upon as a chison. So attached ish ma'ule means a principled person. Person who has principle, he doesn't give in to principle. That's one way. Then the suggestion came, the another way to translate it, that Ish Ma'ula means a perfectionist. But both of them, a principle man is a positive thing, a person of principles. A perfectionist is also sometimes it's a positive thing, but sometimes it's a negative thing. When we say someone is a perfectionist, it's not always expression of a mile. Sometimes say he's so good, he's a perfectionist. Sometimes say no, he's a perfectionist. So he's never finishes anything. He never. So it's not always a mile. Look, it's another way to express what Isha Ma'ula means. The reason I'm saying all these things is because in the day-to-day life, this line is a little shaky. On the roin, the midas hanetzach dafka b'adam god b'isha ma'ula. Right. Is that a person was a high caliber person, Isha ma'ula, he by him we find nitzach. That he's as natchanis. He'll always fight for his for his opinion, for his territory, for his principles, no matter what. So this is something that we're trying to understand. Again, so I'm going back to what I said. It's either a person of principles, or maybe a perfectionist, which means in a positive sense of perfection. Persons, everything must be perfect. So he's going to fight for perfection. This is something open to the degree. Like so, I mentioned that in the Maimer of Tzidkas Pirzainai, that from Mittel Rebbe over there is a very long Arichas on this topic. Okay, so in the meantime, I'll leave it open. Maybe we could go back to these two lines. Maybe you'll find a good explanation what it says. Okay, so now we're going back to the second part of the Nitzachon. So one point of Nitzachon is that it belongs to Adam HaMa'ule. That Nitzachon shows that it comes from a high functioning person at a high level. Number two, he started saying at the bottom of page Kufayin Ches, that mellow that we spoke about, it he has Natzchonos in order to fix in order to win the war, in order to achieve victory, he is willing to spend all his treasures. Was made the last line of Kufayin Ches says, what is the meaning? Spending. What is the meaning of spending his oitzer, his treasure l'mayla? That the mile is a kind of a tzara toiv. So in Pasuk says, it talks about physical rain and physical goods. But over here in Chassidus, it looks deeper into the thing. What's a tzara toiv? V'ayna and sof stima the whole stima shamayim me'el tzara tashas. The oitzer shalamayla is there in sof. So what's happening here is like this. Like I think I mentioned yesterday already. In the marshal, there are two different parts. Number one, the nitzachon comes from a ish me'ule, means it comes from a high madrege within the person. The person is a high level, and the nimshal is that lamayla comes from atzis sof. Then he says. Then another point is that in order to win the war, he uses his treasures. So it's like in the marshal, there are two different parts. They're connected because it touches the melech so deep, so he's willing to give the treasures. But there are two different parts. In the nimshal, it's like one thing, the same thing. But because the oitza is so stima the whole stimin, so he goes into a little discussion. What does it mean stima the whole stimin? Just like an eitz in the marshal, the treasure, like you said earlier, treasure. It's like a very hidden treasure, safe within a safe. So the nimshal is lamayla, the madrega halikut, stima the whole stima. Shlomayla say shachli. That madrega of the iftar itzara means that in the gilui ha'itza means the gilui of stima the whole stima. What does it mean? It says no. That early key, which is connected, which is shaykh to Ishtashis, which is related to Ishtashis, it cannot be called oitza, it cannot be called hidden treasure. Ishtashis in Giluyim. The concept of Ishtashis, the early key in Ishtashis is in the state of Giluyim. It's revealed. It's not oitza, but oitza from the sasim. So oitza means something hidden. Not only that, it says it's stima the whole stima. It's not stama oitza. Within oitza gufa there's madrigas, just like in the physical oitza. There's some treasures that have one level of value, and the treasures are even more valuable. So what is it in the nimshal? So after Yeshua Mile Mishtash, the Makar Shtashos, even the early key, which is above Shtashos, but is the Makar Shtashos, Shulkin Chitzayis and so, and the Hela Mashach Megillah Gamzel and Ikaritza. So that is similar to what he said in page Kufay and Ches, that even Rav Chesed, if you remember, we said that the Rav Chesed, the Arich Hanpin, Gamalzeh Melchav Yagdul. The Rav Chesed is still not the ultimate Gilui Likus. The ultimate, it's still a Chitzayis. The Oitzel Pnimis and Sof Shalmah plus Gilui Klal. The Oitzel Lamaila means the Pnimis and Sof. So what is the meaning in the Nimshul that we find in the Mashal of the Meller, that in order to win the war, he is Mevazbes, he spends all his treasures. What is the Nimshul in the Meller? That through the Netzach, to the Midas and Netzach, in other words, to the Nitzochen, Alideh, it's Netzach, but the word Alideh is a little, it's going to say later, there's a little bit of issue here, what is the cause and what is the effect? So Nitzochen comes from the pneumius of the person, which means, so the Netzach, the Midas HaNetzach, Alideh Netzach means the Midas HaNetzach draws from the, just like within the person himself, within the Melech, it draws from a very deep place in the Melech, from the Etzem HaMelech. Same thing in the Nimshul, the Midas HaNetzach is mamsheh from the Madrig of Oitza, which is Lamaila Mishtashos, not only that, it's Elim Primis and so Shamalim Knes Gilui Klal. Umishom, the Chagav, he brings another few sources to explain what is that Madrega Lamaila. So number one is called Oitza. Now he says Mishom, another point, Mishom Nimshach Tzlichas Avenis. I think the connection is that what is the Netzach? What is the Melchama in the spiritual Melchama? Spiritual Melchama is the Melchama against the Klippus, against the Yitzhar. So that Madrega of Oitza, that Madrega of Netzach, Nimshach Tzlichas Avenis. That comes from the Madrega of, from that comes the Slicha, the forgiveness, that the Slicha is connected to Ira, the daily is Laman Tivor, shiur והביאינו. ומבחינת קימך הסליחה שבנסער שנים שלה זה התשובה שבת עשר אינסוף. She says a few things here, it introduces a few new things that he didn't say till now. Number one, that this Aveda of Netzach is connected to Tshuva. Tshuva, if you think about it, yeah, Tshuva makes sense that Tshuva is like the Netzach. The person goes deep within himself and he fights off the Avedas that he did, and it's Tshuva because lo yinachem. Lo yinachem means he stays with the connection to the Eibishter. He overpowers the Lumas. So that's Tshuva. To Tshuva we reach the Atzmas Ein Sof, the Mele, that creates Ir and Bittul, and that brings the Slicha. So when they get to Ir, he's going to talk later. How the Oitza, the Oitza says later, Oitza means Ir is a Shir Shamayim. But so that's the Oitza. It introduces a few new points that when in the world of Tshuva is also the world of the Oitza, and it's bring the Slicha. Another remez on that concept is Zevin Tal Tchia Tal Shos Lach Beis Hameis. Says when they get Tal Tchia, it says in Chazal that the Shosh Gdima Shamash the Eibishter said that says Dibra is Porchan Ishmasam Verzira Betal Tchia. The Eibishter returned in the Shama of Nei Sol who Porchan Ishmasam to Tal Tchia, to the Tal, the door of Tchias HaMeis. Shosed Lach Beis Hameis. What's my doctor? He said, Tal the native Ma'atika. that level of tal is the tal, the native matik. It's amshocha b'madrega of acting. Because generally speaking, what's the difference in tal? Chassidus explains the difference in tal and geshem. Geshem is a type of amshocha that's nimshach to isal tata. The like it says in Pasuk, the rain comes from the water that evaporates from the ocean and then comes back as rain. So it's also sat. And another, and one in the Chassidus brings also from Chazal, Yarv kamotar likhi im shovra bris open motor yered. It means that the geshem is a result of avodas Hashem. For avodas shovra bris open. Kabbalah said, "Ma'ashenken tal b'chlal tal is comes on its own. There's no. That's Chassidus looks at it. That's Chassidus explains it in a few places. That tal is something that mishmaya. It's something that tal avodas. Not stam tal the atik. So that's the same madrega of Tchias HaMeitzim. What does it mean? He said, what does Tchias HaMeitzim really mean in Avodah? Shagam HaMesi Yechai. Even a person who's in a state of Misa, he should also apply. The person who is it's called mess. But you don't feel likus, it's mess. And to the tal is mechai the mason. Means he brings in life into them that state of misa. Right? So it means even when there is tachtenis, even in a person is in a state of maze, which means doesn't feel the chayes aliki. Even there, the tal is nimshach. Upchenes tal the nasik matika. Shupchenes pnimis akesa v'zeh tcheis hameis. Okay, it's not 100% clear why he has to bring in this whole point, but it's another way of describing what's this oitzer. So the oitzer that's nimshach. So again, maybe we can say that the Tchias HaMeitzim is also sort of nitzochen. You overcome, come to the lowest level where you have to fight the menaged, and you overcome the menaged. So that's maybe you can call it nitzochen. In order to reach that, we need the tal, which is like the oitzer. It doesn't develop it clearly, but maybe that's pshat. There's another pasuk to strengthen this point. Again, when it's described that that the Eden said after Matan Torah, we are afraid. So the Eibishter said, so that level of Yiras Hashem that they have now as a result of Matan Torah, should be all the time. What's mentus? So that's iten ve'elavam. It's medayik and the pasuk. That the Yira comes from me, from the level of me. So just another way of showing that the Ira is for some reason, like I said, I'm not sure how it was said because I know. So he's going to bring soon the whole point. The interesting thing is that in the Maimah in the middle of its Maimah, he starts the whole discussion on the Maimah Chazal. The Rebbe says Oitzer Shliur Shemai. So after he does that, all of these things fall into place because he's talking about there's Oitzer, the Oitzer Shemai is called Oitzer Shliur Shemai. So in this Maimah, for some reason, the way it's written, it's like he says all these things. Only later you'll tell me that Oitzer Shliur Shemai. Well, in this pasuk, we see also the Yiras Shamayim comes that level of Yiras Shamayim that's poil in Eden comes from meat, which is the scholars article in. That's the oitz. The Ines, and now he says, Zel she'itza ma'im ha'azal. Now he brings the ma'im ha'azal. Ein like Hashem ha'chabei lo'mer lo'itzach the Shamayim. The Shamayim gam ken yiko itza. The Shamayim is oitza. So that's the oitza we're talking about all along. But what is oitza shel Shamayim? It says oitza pnimis ein sof. Eich ni. Sorry. The Ine Shamayim malchus. When talking about Madrigas Lamayla, the Madriga of Yir Shamayim relates to the Shiras HaMalchus. The Shamayim Uzo, Beishas Baal Kimas Shamayim Esaoretz. Says in Kabbalah that Shamayim is Zo. Shamayim means the Madrigas was there. I'm thinking the Shisha Midas. The Yir Shamayim Malchus. So the difference between Shamayim and Yir Shamayim is that Malchus is Yir Shamayim. In the ears, in fact, it's right. So, because Shamayim, it's like Rashi says, it's Shamayim, a Shamayim, which is Chesed Gvur. So Shamayim is the Ve'yir Shamayim Machs. Oitza Pnimis Ein Sof. We just said that Oitza means a treasure, which we just described earlier. That Oitza means Ein Sof. Ve'eich. So why do we say that Oitza Shel Shamayim, that Yir Shamayim is called Oitza? The Malchus, which is the lowest Madriga, even below Zo, that's called Oitza. Ach Yedua Sheberdei Lies Agila BeMalchus Daf Madriga Le'Envies. So the answer is like we know from other places that the Gili of Malchus comes from the highest Madriga. Ainu Lies Agila Malchus. In order to reach Malchus, you need a Gili from a higher level. In order to reach, so in a way he describes Yir Shamayim as a lower level, because Malchus is the lowest Madriga. It's Madriga of Malchus, which is the Yer Biyah. In order to reach that, we need the Oitza. This is the same concept we spoke about all along. In order to be Menatzer, the Menaged, we need the Oitza. So the same thing here. That Oitza Shel Yir Shamayim. Zo Oitza Shel Yir Shamayim. So the Mela, the Yir Shamayim is something that comes from a much higher Madriga, from a Madriga of Oitza, from Pnimis Oitza. V'zeo gam kein akol b'dei Shamayim chutz Yir Shamayim. So it also explains the famous Maimon Chazal. What says over there? Ba'at Yisrael ma Hashem Elokecha ki'im shel me'imach ki'im lo yiro, say Chazal. That's something they used to ask you. Only Yir Shamayim. What meant this? The Shamayim was Zo. Shamayim, like we just said, Shamayim was Zo. The Chola Noga Shabayim was the Midas Zo Atzilus. All the rest, all the general, Anhagas, everything that happens in the Olamais, that comes from the Atzilus. There's the Midas. Chut Mir Shamayim, Sham Shachar Malchus Madrigal Yenis. Yir Shamayim, like we just said, refers to Malchus, and that's not Bidei Shamayim. It comes from Madrigal. It's higher than Shamayim, higher than Zo. That's Madrigal of Oitza. So that's I explained this concept. There's a few things he said here, like I said, that are nicht ausgeteilt. But I think Hemshech Pshat is that Nitzochen. What is Nitzochen? Nitzochen means there's a menaged, and you have to fight the menaged. You have to overcome the menaged. So that, in order to reach that point, you take a very deep place. First of all, the Etzem HaNefesh and the Oitza, which is the Pnimis Ein Sof. And that is why. So from that perspective, the Indian Malchus, the Indian, which is the Eredes Labiyah, and what else? He also there was also Tchias HaMeisim, that somebody was a state of Misa, which means a very low state. In order to reach that, and when that stay of that, you need the Oitza Shel Shamayim. That's the Hemshech Inyanim. But Kamokin of a Nefesh, so they said similarly we find also in Nefesh Order, just like we described it in Madrigas Lamayla. So in Nefesh is also like that. Person's Ira and Bittul, the Ira Shamayim, the way it's in every individual person, that reaches the Ira, Yiras Hashem and the Bittul. What Madrega Nefesh does it come from? Comes from the high level of Kochos Ne'elomim. The Yesh Ben Nefesh Kochos Agluim, the Nefesh has revealed Kochos that we relate to, and then Kochos Ne'elomim. Then there's the deeper, higher, more hidden Kochos, the Etzem Kochos Ne'elomim. That is the Oitz. Mishom, so the level of fear and beetle, the real Shamayim, the real beetle to the Eibush that comes from the deeper place. Because of Bechavai Daniel, so he brings a pasuk to prove this point. But Daniel says, the people next to Daniel, they didn't see the vision, but they the very strong harod, very strong fear. They had a very strong fear. My time boys, if they didn't see, why were they afraid? And one answer, they didn't see it, but the mazel. What is the mazel? Mazel means the makif. The mazel is the etzem nefesh, the makif shebenefesh. I know shagil mizen nimshach leira. No, the ira, the charodo is a result of mazalayich. It's metayik a deal from this Rosh Chazal, which is not common. What is he saying? The mazol ha'makim shemisham, mazol ha'chodesh, ha'makim v'chein ha'od Adam, because they didn't see, because they in their kochos agluim didn't see it. They only the makifin shebenefesh, the etzem nefesh. That's where the vision was. That caused ha'od agdol. Aval Daniel asked b'shayim shel kochos agluim v'chein lo yivis. Daniel was not afraid. Why? Because he saw it in Kochos Agluim. So Ibrahim, there was no giloy of the excellent. That's an interesting diuk in that whole story with Daniel. The Adab, we would say Daniel for sure was afraid. Even the people who didn't see it, they were also afraid. But the truth is not. Daniel, because by him that vision was in a way that the Kochos Agluim were able to relate to it. So there was no harada, there was no ira. Ira comes, that's the point he's making. Ira comes from makif, from the Kochos Ne'elomim. V'aynu hatam shiur nimshach makif nimshach. V'zeh it's Yiras Shamayim shiur v'abiyainu Kochos Ne'elomim. So that's the nukshot of Oitza of Yiras Shamayim. Yiras Shamayim, the break of ira and bitul, where does it come? From Oitza, from the hidden place, from Kochos Ne'elomim. But nefesh, so in the nefesh, that's the makif shebenefesh, that's the oitz. Well, the milo, what is the name shalamaylo? Shalamaylo is that oitz, that's an answer in itself, like I said all along. But zeo midas hanetzach lamaya shenim shel dafka be'eretz ostim v'chostim. So we finished.
How to understand that the name, because it was nimshach because Agluim lo yivis. In Pshat, he was higher than Chaverov.
But so here, maybe he reached a higher level than Ira. He was above Ira. His madrega, the way he experienced it was not Ira. He was you can. Yeah, you're right. It's a different view. So in other words, by him it was not Ira, it was something else. By him it was a different experience. Like it says, for example, that Moshe Rabbeinu, it says in the Rambam, Rambam describes the Nevuah, that even the Nevuah of Moshe and the rest of Nevi'im, the other Nevi'im, but they were like shaking, they were afraid. But when the Moshe Rabbeinu didn't, because he was a higher level. So by him, it wasn't Ira. Then Ira Pashtus, I also think that the Nil Pashtus was a higher level. But the point we're making here that Ira comes from Maki. Daniel's experience was a different experience. It wasn't Ira. That's Pshat says.
He also had the Makif, but he had also the Kochos Agluim.
So what do you mean? He all said the makif.
If he had the Koresa Gloim, it does not mean that he missed the makif. The Gilui from the makif came to him also.
From the way he explains it here, that Gilui was not even that Gilui that they needed makif. He got it from Pnimi. He got that one and not from Pnimi. He doesn't need the makif. Merely, he doesn't have ear, because it's like if you like I said, the marshal of Moshe Rabbeinu, if you feel close to the king, so you don't have ear. You don't. There's no ear there. It is ava, not ear. It may be higher, but it's not ear. So I don't know if the way it explains here, Itaka didn't have in the makif Shabbat is makif Shabbat Neshama. I don't know what that level. The ear was not in makif. So the pnim is the way. Is makif probably reached a higher level, different level, but not ear, not what causes ear. I mean, I told you that it looks to me like this way of understanding this Gemara is something new, unique. But
it seems like it's saying that by a news data, it's saying that by Daniel, the makif came into all the way down to the Gilui, and that's why. No, so even though it's from the makif, but by him, since he was a great person, so that makif was all the way in. You want to say b'malchus, or you want to say the down below. So whatever the lowest level by him, it was in a level of seeing, in a level of feeling. It wasn't by them. It was just
the question is, okay, that's what I understand always. But according to what he's saying, so why didn't he have ear? Just said that ear comes from the makif. Daniel didn't have the ear. Daniel Atzmei lo yidis. He was not afraid. Why? If the makif brings the ear, so Daniel should also have the ear. Why didn't he have the ear? So because it sounds here that makif did not. He did not need the makif there. He had a different Gilead makif. That Gilead of makif didn't have because he had a technique. So B'meila, see this year that we're talking about and that they had, he didn't have. Maybe he had a higher level of fear, but the ear that they got from the makif, he didn't have that because he saw. That's what the Maimon says. He was not afraid. Yeah. Okay. Stuck a shtickle. Chidush. So he finished the discussion that he started in the middle of Page Kufay Ches. Page Kufay Ches, it said that is Gaza so from Midas Netzach. That's what he started saying. And he gave us a whole develop a marshal from a melech, from Adam Ma'ule, and we have the melech with the Eitzel. Al Kaponim says, move on, Shemitzad, and Nemtzach, Nim Shofin, Shostim, and Postim. So we see here that the Midas HaNetzach has a unique quality that the Mamshach Stim and the Chostim, the Eitzel. Tzorich Lo'ovin, Eich Shaykh L'mayla Midas HaNetzach. It takes us back all the way. The whole concept of Netzach has a Shaykh L'mayla. The Nitzach and Shire, Dachel Yesh Menag. Concept of victory it's shaykh only when there's a position. There's an enemy that you have to fight. So you win him over. There's a victory. So you have to be finished explaining. Like the Netzach is a very deep, very high Gilui. So he says the whole concept of Netzach Lamaylo doesn't make sense. It only makes sense when two entities, two kings, two people fight. So one has the Midas HaNetzach. The Eibishter is above any limitation. He doesn't have any He doesn't have any opposition, so to speak. So what is Shadow Netzach? What is the concept? Who does he have to win? There's nothing. So this aspect of Netzach, we spoke all along, that there's a menagid, you have to overcome him. How do we explain? How does Shaykh Lamayl? So the answer question is, Netzach zeh beYisrael. So that answers the Lashon HaPasuk, Gam Netzach Yisrael lo yishak. Yisrael da, the Ein Sof Ein Shaykh Netzach Mitzvah. Ein Achaname. The Ein Sof, the concept of Netzach be'etzem is not applicable there. It's not applicable yet to the Ein Sof because it's above any menagid. There's no opposition there. So what does he have to fight? And then he brings in what we say in davening again. So just like I said earlier, that's all tough bottle of something netzach. When you say lechot, tough bottle applies to netzach. Shemidas and netzach, or gamkin tough bottle. Just like we described in the get to Gedula, that was Arichas before, that Malchum Gedula Hashem that the Indian of Gedula, Indian of Ma'aser Bereishis is really under Vasanusa, it's really a descent, it's insignificant, it's top of a bottle. So the same thing applies also to Netzach. But because there's no menagid. So not means he has that ability to overcome everything, but there's not the netzach is really nothing because there's no menagid. So what's the point of netzach? No, Ross. Achmidas and netzach they're shabbos. So the real concept of netzach shalamaylo really applies to us. The Eibishter's netzach is expressed to us because we are the Eibishter put us in a world that there is menagdim. The Eibishter himself does not menagdim. He put Israel in a world when there is menagdim to the Eibishter, menagdim to us, and our job is to overcome the menagdim. So that is where the midas and netzach of the Eibishter is expressed. He himself is like above netzach. So that's the idea of Pizon Ben Omes B'Shul Abir. What but earlier, beginning of the Maimah, he brought this pasuk in Shiras Dvoyer, Tzitkus Pirzeinu V'Yitzor, V'Yitzor Gemara, Tzdochas HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael Pizon Ben Omes. That this Pizon Ben Omes, the fact that the Eden are in a state of they're scattered among the nations, which means not necessarily. He's going to say later. Right now, he's saying it doesn't necessarily mean the goals. I mean, the fact that we live in this Gashmic world and we have to deal with ummos, which represent the union of menaged. We need the nitzach. We need the next. But he talks about it more in the state of Shpizon Ben Omes. It's scattered among the nations. B'shvil Abir. Why? Like again, he's Marames. It says in Pasuk, it says in Chazal, the goal is so Ben Omes and Shitayis Halem Geirim. Now to get Geirim, so the Kabbalah explains what does Geirim mean, that we mavar the nitzutz. Why do we Shpizon Ben Omes B'shvil Abir? The B'bir, how does Bir operate? The concept of Bir is ידוע דמבר מסלבש במסבר שמסאחד מסרבים ועדי זה המברס. דאימו הזה בפני עצמו, לא המברס, רק דווקא לפני מסלבש המברס. So he brings in the whole concept, the description of what is Avodas HaBirur. Avodas HaBirur means you invest yourself in the Mizbar, Mislabesh Bilvush HaMizbar, and what we can bring a bunch of mashalim. Maybe the simple mashal is that let's say maybe a teacher and a student. Birurim is always usually birurim. The mashal birurim is achila nama when you eat. So we invest ourselves in eat, and mevar the nitzach of the food. So there's a state of islapshus. It's not, you don't stay from the outside, from above, and you deal with it. You mislabish b'shem misbar. So this is the meaning that Pisam Ben Ha'omas means that the Eibush sent them within the nations, means he sent the neshamas in this world, it should be mislabish. The nefesh of the should be mislabish nefesh habamis. We have to invest ourselves. We have to our neshamas have to relate and be involved with Gashmis. We can't just says the imoy zebifne atzma lo virus. That condition is slavish virus. Only when you mislabish, invest yourself in it. Only then in virus. V'zeh sheisa b'medrash. So the medrash says over there, like, but when it describes the inner of Pisam in Umaris, it says echad goyla lebarbaria ve'echad goyla lesamati. Maybe it's a remes. The barbaria is also as the maybe it has the word bill. But the point is that in other words, the avodas habirurim, the Pisam ben Umaris means you go out. You don't stay like Chassidus says. Shlomo HaMelech was sitting in his own throne, and the Malchus Shua came to him. It means that was that's called bir b'derech menuch in the Maimorim of Pada B'Sholem. Talks about the difference bir b'derech menucha, bir b'derech milchama. Bir b'derech menucha is that you sit in your own place and the mitzvot just come like Shlomo HaMelech. But bir b'derech milchama, the regular way is that you have to go out of your comfort zone and go into the Olam HaMizbar and elevate it. So that is the Indian of Goyal Barbar, the Varsh. So in that experience, jumping back again, so the Pisam ben Umaris and Goyal Barbaria is just illustration how it works in a very practical way. But he's talking more about Nefesh Adam, everybody in his own experience. Everybody in his own life, the nefesh has to be invested in the physical world and elevated. So it has to be mislabish. So in that experience, there's challenges. There's concealment of godliness, there's obstacles.
Barbaria is a place?
Yeah, it's a place. It's a place in Africa. So
Barbados.
No, not Barbados. North Africa, the Berbers. Yeah, it was a place when the Medrash was said. There was a place in Medina called Barbaria. I think Tunis. I think so. Somewhere. Yeah, but it's not Nigeria. Nigeria, he's more talking about the concept that the bill is in a way that you reach out a very low place. And what happens there? There's concealment, there's obstacles. In order to overcome the Minis Vikuvim to the bill, it has to be nitzach. You have to invoke within yourself the Midas HaNitzach, the Natzchonos, that you must stay strong and overcome the Menagit, overcome the Minis Vikuvim, the elements of state. Lamed Neget Kol Minei Omeakit. Okay, he jumped right away into the answer. So the beginning of the question was, how is it shaykh nitzochen l'mayla netzach? So the answer is it's netzach is soul. Nitzochen is expressed in Bnei Soul who came to the Neshama Soul came into this world, a world that has menias v'kuvim and alamas v'esterim. In order to overcome the Nisakum, to Bimvar, you need Nitzochen. Mela, that expresses what we learned earlier. The Nitzochen, the Mela is an expression of the Nivis Vatzmas, Stima the Chostimim.
So we can say that that this concept, not that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu has the midat netzach, but the fact is it can be affected, can be achieved through him.
Yeah, he gives the
is
koyach,
Lord.
exactly. He gives the koyach to after of the netzach. Right. Now he brings in another point that I mentioned before. But Zeo, so look what he says here. It's like there's a little bit of what we call a loop. Who is the who? Where does it start and who starts it and where does it end? So first he said, Ali day abir nimshach to the biur to the avayas abir and mamshach nitzach. וזהו שמשביעינו is it tzaddik. That is, no, I'm sorry. So he said two things. The koyach lavar nimshach misham, the abir nimshach misham. So there's, it's like I said, it's a loop. The koyach is from the oitzo, and to the nitzach and mamshach the oitzo. So it goes together. You get the power, the koyach, to reach, to be menatzeach from the oitzo, from the madrega of stima the stimin. And when you actually execute that, when you actually menatzeach, you megale that nimshach hagilim to the nitzach and mamshach. It goes together. That's the cause and that's the effect. The cause and effect are the same. The cause brings the effect.
מבחינה זו, it's not מבחינת from the level of netzach.
The netzach, yeah.
Is it so? It's it's the koach nitzachon is megale, no? That's what it says.
Yeah, exactly. The koach lavar nimshach misham. The koach the mevar comes from the madrega of stima the stimin. They are built when actually mevar nimshach gilim. That brings megale the stima the whole thing. You got the koach from there, and then to executing the koach, you megale the koach in this world.
So where the netzach is coming through?
What?
When netzach comes in this picture?
This is the netzach. The nitzach, the bill, when they overcome the alamas of esterim and mevara, that's the koyach nitzach. You win a victory over the mizbar. You mevara him. So in order to have the koyach to be mevara him, you need the koyach from stima the chostimit. That's the oitzach shel Shemayim. And at the same time, to the actual doing it, you mamshach you megale the oitzach the madrega of nitzach, the madrega of stima the chostimit in this world. So okay, all right.
This madrega is coming from the Eibishter. If someone wants to then it's Nitzachon, how are you getting it?
He says the koyach. That's the day to day. We have the koyach. It says in Chazal, in the Malach Kadosh Baruch Hu, we have the koyach from the Eibishter to be menatzer the Yitzhak. But we have to. It's not just we have to. Can't sit doing nothing. He gives us the koyach, but we have to use the koyach. When we use the koyach, then in the mamshach. So yeah, it comes from the Eibush to talk, but we have to put in our effort, and together that mamshach, that is mamshach the Ein Sof. He gives us the koyach, but to be megale, it's to our avoid.
That's called netzach.
What?
Netzach Yisrael.
That's the Netzach Yisrael. Yeah. So that's the Netzach Yisrael. Lo yinochem. He's above. He overcomes the obstacles. He doesn't have any shinuim. He's not affected by his environment. Mele, that's the Nitzach. That's the Nitzach. He overcomes the menagid. Okay, Shabbos. We'll talk after Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Shlomo.
Shabbos.
Shlomo.
Yeah.